Hey friends, welcome to today's video. My name's Stephanie if you're new here, and today we're going to be looking at my top 10 favorite glitters for the holiday season. Now well, hopefully you know by now that I am a huge fan of sparkly shades, and what better time than the holidays to pull out your favorite glitters? So realistically, I could have filled up this whole swatch wheel, but I wanted to keep it a little bit minimal and hopefully wear as much as possible of these shades over the next couple of weeks as we get closer and closer to the holidays. But yeah, without further ado, let's just get into my choices. The first shade is ILNP's Ruby, which we recently reviewed as part of their latest New Year's Eve collection. So yes, there might be some recency bias, but can you blame me? This one absolutely stunned me when I tried it on. I ended up wearing it as a full manicure and eventually even did some candy cane nail art over it to prolong the wear time. So if that doesn't show how much I love the shade, I don't know what does. I'm showing 3 coats here for the swatch wheel, but I know I was able to wear this in just 2 coats. Next up, we have another new to me polish that I'll be reviewing in the coming week, I believe. This one is Holo Naughty List, which came out in last year's holiday collection. So to me, this is the perfect red glitter bomb for the season. It definitely should be worn with a peel-off base coat, but I think these chunky glitter mixes are just so perfect for the holidays. They just remind me of glitter-covered ornaments. So I'm showing 3 coats here on the swatch wheel, but I'm pretty sure this was opaque for me in just 2 coats. The next and last red that I have here is Giving Garnet by Doctor's Remedy. And this one might seem obscure, but it's basically because my China Glaze Ruby Pumps polish was totally dried out and needs to be replaced. So like Ruby Pumps, this one features a very fine red micro glitter in a ruby red jelly base. So it means you'll need 2 to 3 coats for full opacity, but it builds up so beautifully. I really couldn't choose between this and ILNP Ruby since they're the most similar but slightly different formula-wise, so I had to include both. I just love how sparkly this one is without being holographic or having any kind of multi-chrome shimmer. It's just like the perfect glittery red. Next up, we have ILNP Juliette, which I've had for a long time, so please excuse the dirty bottle cap. But this one is one of my absolute favorite rose gold metallics. I honestly could have included so many other rose golds, but a few of my other favorites aren't available anymore, so maybe I can talk about them in a different video. But back to Juliette, I would say this is one of those rose golds that leans a little bronzy, and I feel like it even looks antique gold here. But once it's built up to opacity, you can see just how breathtaking it is. I also really love the scattered holo in this one because it just adds so much sparkle. So this is one of their ultra metallics, which is basically made up of these super tiny, super reflective foil flakies. So it's definitely a stunner if you're gonna wear it as a full manicure. I personally love to wear it as like an accent nail, especially paired next to one of the reds that I have right next to it, or even as a glitter gradient. There's just so many possibilities with a shade like this. Up next, I have I'm a Mother Effin' Supernova by Mooncat. We'll just go with the censored version since it's basically censored on the label. But this one is my favorite gold glitter. This came out in their Toxic Stardust collection last year, and that whole collection was so beautiful. But I definitely used this one and one of the other shades the most for my holiday looks. So this one is more of a true yellowy gold glitter bomb. So you should either do 3 coats or sponge on a layer for full coverage, but the finished look is so worth it. Again, I definitely would recommend wearing this with a peel-off base coat. Otherwise, you're going to be scrubbing at your nails for like years probably. But yeah, this one is just too gorgeous. So I was also debating including fake halo since that's another favorite. It's a beautiful gold linear holo, but I decided we needed to go super glitzy for the holidays. And I just can't recommend this one enough. Next up, I have Zoya Merida, which I believe I briefly shared in my comparisons for ILNP Good Fortune from the New Year's Eve collection, but this one deserves its own spotlight. So this is one of Zoya's scattered holo formulas, which are probably some of Zoya's best, but to be honest, it really isn't that holo. I mean, I feel like I haven't seen that many people mention that about these formulas, but they are still absolutely stunning. Like, I love it even though the holo isn't really showing up. It's just like a super sparkly evergreen polish that has so much depth once you build it to opacity, kind of similar to giving Garnet or Ruby pumps. So this is definitely another shade that is opaque for me in 2 coats, but I'm showing 3 for the swatch wheel. And oh my god, the depth in this one, I can just get lost. Up next, we have Super Clusterfck, also from Mooncat's Toxic Stardust collection, which is described as a forest green holographic glitter bomb. Now, did I really need 2 green glittery shades? No, not really, but I feel like this is such a different feel to Merida since it's more of a chunky rainbow glitter. So I'm just giving you options, whether you want holo or not, you know? Since this one is a deeper shade, I can usually get away with it in 2 coats, but again, you might need a 3rd if your nails are longer. And I will say too, speaking of the color, I did notice that this one looks almost teal in some of the website photos. Well, there's not really that many website photos for this, but it basically looks darker. What you're seeing here is pretty color accurate, so just keep that in mind. So I wanted to include a couple of blues for anyone who celebrates Hanukkah. So the first one that I chose is Cirque Colors Aquamarine, which is probably the most understated of this lineup, but it ends up fitting right in since it's so incredibly sparkly. This is an icy blue tinted jelly that's packed with holo microflakies. So I ended up building it up in 3 coats for the swatch wheel. And if you are gonna wear it as like a full manicure, it probably would warrant 3 coats as well, since the base color is super light. But I also really love wearing shades like this as a really delicate glitter gradient. So again, different possibilities. You don't have to wear these full-on glitters or microflakies if it's too much work. So there's options, and this is just such a beautiful, delicate baby blue shade. The next blue I had to include is Zoya Meredith, which came out in their holiday collection, I think 2 years ago, but it's still one of my favorite sparkly blues that, again, I think would be so perfect for Hanukkah, especially paired with the last polish and a shimmery white or silver as a skittle. Oh, the possibilities are endless. So this one is an easy 2-coater on my nails since it is a deep sapphire blue base packed with blue shimmer. And even though it can seem kind of dark, especially since I'm going to build it up in 3 coats on the swatch wheel, it's definitely going to be one of those shades that will always look like a dark blue and not black. So you know how I feel about shades like that. So this one is just such a perfect option for the season. So I figured I might as well round out the rainbow. So I picked out my favorite glittery purple, and this one is China Glaze's Valet the Sleigh from a couple years ago. This is such a beautiful and intensely sparkly purple glitter that has tiny hint of holo flecks, but it mainly has this almost silvery sheen to it that I think gives it like this icy feeling. So I haven't done a purple holiday mani in a while, but this is always the one that I would reach for first. So it builds up to opacity in 2 coats on my nails, and it's also dense enough to use as nail art, like painting some ornaments or ribbons. This is definitely the purple that I was debating adding into my winter favorite swatch wheel, but I just didn't really have the room for it. And I decided, you know what? let me save this for my holiday glitter favorites because it just fits right in with the rest of them. And lastly, you know I had to include a pink, so I chose Cirque's Pink Diamond, which is sadly discontinued. I think it's the only one that's discontinued from the ones I'm sharing. But this one is from their Facets line, which is similar to Aquamarine. So it definitely needs a couple coats to be fully opaque. But oh my god, this one is such a perfectly delicate pink for the holidays. It's probably not surprising, but I love the idea of a pink Christmas, and this micro flaky just feels so perfect for winter. I really love the Holo flakies in this one. It really does make it look like crushed pink diamonds or something. And this is definitely another one that would look so beautiful as a glitter gradient, or even if you build it up fully opaque and then paint some white candy cane stripes over it. Oh my god, how freaking cute. I just adore this one so much. This one was definitely a polish I was considering for my Libra favorites video, but it was a little too sheer. And I don't know, for whatever reason, the sheer pink with the silver Holo flakies just reminds me of winter. So I'm glad I had the chance to share it with you for this video. So here is the final look at my swatch wheel, or half of my swatch wheel. And with top coat, some of these polishes definitely required a second layer of top coat because they were just so chunky and dry down a little textured. So keep that in mind if you're planning on picking any of these up. But yeah, I am just so excited for these. Again, I probably could have like filled up this whole swatch wheel with just my favorite reds for the holiday season, but you know me, I love a good rainbow, and what better excuse to pull out like some of my favorite rainbow glitters than the holiday season, you know? So here's my swatch wheel in front of my makeshift tree that I think is just such a cute backdrop. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That wraps up my top 10 favorite glitters for the holiday season. I cannot wait to hear what you all think of my favorites, especially if you also gravitate towards the super intense glitter bombs this time of year as well. Or if you're going to be keeping it classy with some cream shades, let me know any and all polishes that you'll be wearing this season down below in the comments so we can chat about it. But thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!